What do you want, buddy?
Hey, my guy was just wondering what happened to all the freaking podcasts.
I don't know, man. We were just taking a little bit of a break.
Well, I mean, we're ready to get them back started and chop it up if you're down.
Well, what are you waiting for? Get in here. Let's do it.
Oh man.
The seat sure feels good.
These seats sure do feel like they're just terrible seats. Nothing new. Well,
what's it been like?
It's been a good
5 years, dude.
Probably around 4.5, 5 years since we've even like spoken into these microphones.
They're a little bit. Get the dust off them.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit good now.
Well, welcome back.
How you guys been?
How have you been? Comment down below how you've been, because we genuinely want to know. Well, just so you know.
Sorry, 1 second.
Oh. Let's go.
Welcome. This is episode 22.
22
of the Trap Turnover podcast.
And obviously something's different.
Yeah.
I'll probably throw in a little clip like right now of what the room's gonna look like, or what it does look like.
It's fire,
dude. We're stoked, to say the least.
Stoked.
We're stoked to be back in this new space where we can be loud.
We're not in a living room.
We're not in a living room.
Nope.
We're not. What was the last place? We were in my bedroom, which was like kind of whack because my whole family was there, so we couldn't like really like be loud.
Yeah.
We also couldn't say certain things that we would have said anyway. Like that kind of. But dude, gosh, it's just good to be back. I'm really comfortable.
Is.
We're in our element.
We have our own whole little studio room just for this. We got the nice background.
We got decent
Tyler Hero. We got Dame Lillard.
Yeah, let's go over it real quick.
I don't know how much the camera can see. We got Allen Iverson, the Greek Freak. Rest in peace, Mamba.
Yes.
More Mamba. And we got clouds up there. You probably definitely can't see those, but
yeah, you've seen the clouds.
And to the people listening right now, you'll have to tune into our YouTube. We'll have hella clips from this episode, hopefully. Have a nice little intro we just recorded before this, so some bonus content, but otherwise, let's get it going, dude.
We're gonna get it going. We're gonna chop it up real quick. I don't know, this episode is either gonna be like an hour long or like probably 2.5. Right. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Because
honestly, like, the break we took was needed. We were just waiting for this transition from his old place to this new place. Mm-hmm. But in terms of content, it was definitely a tough time to take a break because so much shit has happened since we got all sorts of NBA stuff happening. We got so many albums that drop, crazy summer start. Honestly, it's tough to even know where to begin because we could do a broad coverage of a bunch of stuff, but that might be kind of
exactly where to begin.
Boring. So I'll let you start it off then. What are you thinking right now?
So our last episode, which was probably a month or two ago, we discussed the J. Cole album. Mm-hmm. Have you gone back to it?
Oh, yeah.
What are your month and a half, 2 month after thoughts on it? Because I'm curious. Because I went back to it about a week ago, and it's still so good.
I love it.
It's still so good.
So I probably still have about 3 to 4 songs from it there in my current rotation, honestly.
Which are?
That would probably be the one with I should know the names. My Life.
Yes.
I've got that one. I've got Punching Off the Clock, I think it's called. Pride is the Devil, of course.
Of course.
And then, what's the first song called? 95 South. Those I bump some other ones every once in a while, but if we're talking like playlist level stuff that I'll listen to every week or whatever, those 4 ones really are just good.
Yeah.
Great variety, great features, great beats, everything about it.
Those are definitely the highlights of the album too, I would say. Those are like the selling songs or tracks off the album, I would say.
So it's honestly, it's aged really well for me. It's not one of those things that I'm like so hyped on that I'm listening to it on repeat every other day. Like I would say like the hype, like the week it came out, it's kind of died down a bit for me. Like, not saying there's no hype on the album anymore, but like it's still incredible and I'll still listen to it, but it's not like anything that's, you know, like I'm waking up and like I'm gonna listen to the off season. You know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
I still think it's a great album. We'll definitely later this year we'll definitely have a podcast about album of the year, probably at the end. And that will be a contender for sure.
Yeah.
And I can say that confidently, knowing that there's going to be way more good albums that will drop. It'll still be up there, you know?
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Man, I went back to it probably a week and a half ago. Without, I would maybe listen to like the tracks you named every now and then, like the highlights of the album, I would say.
Yeah.
I listened to those a little bit in between, but about a week and a half ago, I went back and I listened through it a couple more times. And still, even I said 100 Mil was my least favorite track. Still, it's like a great track. And so, you know, it's like, it's one of those albums that I can already tell is going to age very well, unlike KOD, I would say. KOD didn't, I mean, for me at least, it didn't age very well. For some, it may have. I think Tyler, it aged well for Tyler for some reason. But, you know, it's just one of those albums where you listen through it a dozen times around the time when it drops.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, I get it. I understand it.
It's cool.
It's all right. It's not something, there was maybe 1 or 2 tracks I'd throw on a playlist. But it was okay. It was like it got the job done. 100%.
Yeah, it was a good.
But off season, man, it's a different experience because like there's just a lot more variety with it. I would say, you know, as compared to KOD or even For Your Eyes Only. You know, both of those albums kind of had a vibe to them that he stuck to. Yeah. Throughout the whole, you know, 40 minutes, of however long they were. But off season, there's enough variety to it where it's like, oh, I'm going to listen to Amari 5 times today. And then the next day, I'm going to listen to 95 South 18 times because that's still my favorite song from the album. You know, it's just, oh dear. It's one of those albums, you know?
It is, man. Like KOD, I feel like I haven't listened to, like I've heard a few tracks from it every once in a while, but like last time I sat down and listened to it was literally like when it came out. Yeah. Like it was good, but this one, you're right, it has variety to it. It's got features.
It's got a lot of flavor to it too.
Lots of flavor, different vibes.
Yes.
And I think it's just overall higher quality than KOD. I think like he's hit the new sound and he's kind of found his groove with it. Yeah. If that makes sense, but
that does make sense.
So yeah, great project.
Great project.
Very, very high contender for album of the year so far.
So far, yes. We still are expecting an album from Drake.
Hasn't happened yet.
There's a rumored Kendrick Lamar album. About that. Don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know. Another ASAP Rocky album. Really? Just kind of another like. Yeah. There's a bunch of other like just kind of random artists dropping this year. Yeah. And there's already been some that have dropped. And they've been like, they haven't outshone Offseason in my opinion yet. Like Slime Language 2. Yeah. We
talked about it a bit. It was a reasonable project. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. It was reasonable. Good. It had its ups and downs. But yeah, it was
about what you'd expect from Thugger. Exactly. And then a giant compilation album kind of is what he was going for. So many artists.
Had all the slimes in it, dude.
All the slimes. All the slats. You know?
Yeah, that one was, but like, yeah, in this last month, we've had a few that dropped, and we're not gonna do like an in-depth breakdown of every one of them because that'd be like a 10-hour long episode.
We're not Fantano. Yeah, that's someone else's job.
You can leave it to the professionals. Although we pretty much know our shit with music. So
Yeah,
it is
we
what
do.
it is,
We really do. Like, for some reason, I feel like we understand music on a different level.
I think
like,
so.
just
I think so.
like in between like expert analysis, I would say Fantano is an expert analysis on new music, and then just average. I feel like we're a little bit above the median between those two. So we're somewhere in between the middle of average and Fantano and Fantano. So we're like 75% on our way to Fantano.
Yeah.
And I still feel like this. I feel like we have a really great opinion on music.
Yeah, I think
like
we
just
do.
get it.
I
That's
think
just
so
my
too, man.
opinion.
I mean,
You know, it obviously caters to my taste. We both
exactly.
have very
We're
similar
biased
taste.
in our You don't hear us like go at it a whole lot, which that needs to happen still.
It's gonna happen.
It will. We just gotta find like something that you hate that I love, or vice versa, and then we can get pissed at each other. But
I know we're still looking for that though.
Yeah.
It's still that's out. It's out there. We just haven't figured out exactly what it is. I thought I kind of had the upper hand in that argument as far as EDM. Because I was like, dude, I love EDM. Like, it just gets me going. And I just didn't know if you've, like, really messed with EDM or not. But then, like, I'm showing you these EDM songs and you're just jamming to them,
dude,
you know?
If that was a debate in, like, our first 5 episodes, you would have me. Like I would have disagreed, but, like, I don't like EDM. It's kind of weird. But now, dude,
it's just...
It goes in.
It's a beautiful type of different, you know? It's just a really fine-tuned type of different.
It's not like something I'll bop every day, but man, dude, when we're kicking it,
we were talking about it 30 minutes ago. How EDM is like, it kind of takes like the blueprints of trap and then just like totally exaggerates it.
Goes insane,
including
they
like
overdo it, but like in a good way. Like
yes.
they just do the most insane drums.
EDM is like the definition of like overdone, but it's still really good. Yeah. Like there's always going to be an audience for it.
Right.
I mean, at least for me, like I'm always going to be listening to EDM like every other day, but like it's kind of one of those genres where it's like, yeah, it's popping, but like you have to like it to like get into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a weird...
It's interesting.
It's a weird paradox.
Good word.
But, on the other hand, we don't just talk about rap music, as you already know. Unless you forgot, you know, because it's been so long. We also talk about basketball.
Turnover as in...
Turning
over the ball.
Turnover as in...
JaVale McGee on Shackton a Fool circa 2015.
Yeah. Turnover as in that. We got it's basketball. Last time we did an episode, I want to say, was it right before or right after the Blazers were like out of it?
It was right before. I think it was literally right before. And
yeah.
I hope nobody goes back and listens to that because we were high on the Blazers.
Yes.
I said Blazers and I think we said Blazers in 5 over the
We
Nuggets.
were cracked out over the Blazers. I said Blazers in 5 and you're like, maybe 6 or 7.
I think I had 6. Dude, I don't even really know what happened there. Like, so much has gone down too with our franchise organization. Like that, I don't want to get too into that because everybody probably already knows what's happening.
Yeah.
New
I mean, we'll give our opinions about it, but we're not gonna like give you every single detail about it.
Yeah. But back to that series, it didn't go the way we expected it to. The games where we won, they were like we looked really good, and on paper we should have won that series. I think that's fair to say. The Nuggets were injured. If you look at our roster, it just appears that we have more depth. If you just look at the stat sheet, look at the players we have. We definitely should have won it, but it was clearly a coaching problem. Definitely still a roster problem too. CJ McCollum kind of fumbled the bag a bit. Still shout out to him. He's a great player, but
I mean, he's a decent NBA player. But
as it stands, he's still on a roster that could change within a month or two. But we will see what happens there.
Yeah.
Not opposed to it, but good player still. Damian did his thing. I'm sick of that narrative that he's not a playoff player and all that BS.
That's a bunch.
He's had his ups and downs.
I've never even heard that. I've never even heard
people have shit on him after like we get swept and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, he's had bad games in the playoffs because he's always the center of attention for defense, and we never had the role players or the backup supporting cast for like it to not make sense to double team every possession. Yeah. So like in that series against the Pelicans, like whole different topic right here. But like for example, he just gets double teamed to death. And back then he didn't really know how to, adapt his game to that. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have good shooters or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But you can't really get away with that anymore. He's a different breed. He gets better every single year. And you saw that in this series. When they throw doubles at him, he always found the right guy. Having Nurkic back and CJ helped because their playmaking has been pretty decent this year. Mm-hmm. And then when you don't double team him, he hits a 3 in your face and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You saw that game where we should have won, where he just kept on hitting the most clutch shots. I lost my voice that night. Most insane thing, I wish we had a podcast right after that because we would have been freaking out. But we lost, so that would have probably been his best game of his career, which sucks. But I don't know, man. Not a whole lot to say. And Blazers kind of sucked, but I guess we could talk about what we want to see in this offseason. And we're not super fine-tuned in our free agency knowledge, contracts, this, that. I'm not updated on who's in the draft this year, who's really available. Mm-hmm. But one thing I do know is we have a guy named CJ McCollum, just talked about him, and he's kind of in the middle of this tough situation right now where we might trade him, we might not. What do you think about that?
It kills me to say it because I've always loved CJ. Even when we first drafted him, his rookie season, I was like, he's a solid player, especially for the Portland Trailblazers. Yeah. Especially for the Portland Trailblazers. He's a very solid player to have on our roster. But that kind of hype behind him almost gave me the idea that he was better than he was. I was expecting more out of him than what he could deliver. Mm-hmm. And so now, and it took me about a year and a half to realize and to come to this thought is you know what? We really don't need CJ. He's not a necessity to the Blazers. Yes, he does help out a lot. He's a great offensive player. He's an iffy defensive player. Iffy.
Very iffy.
It's like we picked up Rocco and he's a better defender. I would even say Derrick Jones Jr. is a better defender than CJ.
Easily. Yeah.
I could easily say that, you know? And so it's you have to consider both sides of the game, offense and defense. Mm-hmm. In offense, he's capable but not reliable.
Mm-hmm. He's streaky.
He's very streaky, and that's what I realized. And it took me, 5 seasons to realize that he's a very streaky player. It's because when he's hot, he'll have 3 games in a row where he'll give any team 35 points.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then there'll be an 8-game streak where he's not getting over 10 points, And so comparing, and it's hard to compare him to Dame because Dame is the player that even if he doesn't give out 30 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, which is around what he
averages, literally.
Even if he doesn't do that, he does contribute to the game on a different level than CJ could ever do. Dame's just a leader, And a leader is someone who puts up the numbers that they're supposed to. 36 and 5 for Dame. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't do that, he's doing the most he can to lead his team to get to that number, at least. He's trying to get... If Dame's having an off night, I noticed this. If Dame's having an off night, Gary Trent Jr. is busting his ass. Mm-hmm. And it sucks we lost him. I'm still so mad we lost him. I loved Gary Trent. He was a dog.
He was the definition of a dog.
He just had a chip on his shoulder.
He did.
And so going back to comparing him to CJ, is Dame is just a little bit, actually a lot of bit more reliable than CJ.
Yes, a lot of bit.
I'd count on CJ to contribute 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Mm-hmm. That's what I expect from CJ. And that's not a lot to expect from the caliber of player that CJ is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's been an all-star, right?
No, he hasn't.
Not yet.
He's put up all-star numbers.
He's put up all-star numbers.
It's hard to be an all-star.
Yeah.
In the East, he would have been an all-star by now.
Yeah, I would say so. So it's like, I want CJ to do as good as he can, but I'm not gonna put my money on it. I don't bet real money on basketball games yet. I just don't know enough yet. Right. Once I do, I will. But CJ's not someone I'd put my money on. On the other hand, Dame is someone that I would put my money on. For sure. It's just like if Dame's having an off night, he's still gonna give you 16 points.
Mm-hmm. And that was really scary.
Why did that happen?
That was kind of weird.
KD's trying to say something.
Yeah,
should we talk about KD?
Oh, in a second.
Not yet.
I was going to add, though, when Damian doesn't drop his 30, if he puts up 15 points and he's shooting 3 for 17 from the field, he makes it up by getting like 12 assists. Or he recognizes who's the guy on fire and he gets them the ball and makes the plays for them. That's a true leader, and he's in a caliber of player where he's like, I would say like him, LeBron. There's like James Harden. Like there's these level of elite playmakers in the NBA who, when they're not feeling it, they can get their other guys involved and lead a team to a win. Yeah. In a way that there's only a handful of players who can do that, and Dame's one of them.
Yeah, I feel like Dame's one of those guys who brings the best out of their team.
Right.
CJ just isn't there yet. Maybe we could put him on a team like the Pistons right now or something, where he could bring out the best of other players because he's already above a level that they're not on. Like, I don't think the Pistons have anyone, like, right now, or at least at the end of their season, that I was like, oh, no. Like, whoa, he's popping off on the Pistons. But, like, I feel like CJ's the type of player that could go on the Pistons and then
go crazy.
He could just be more CJ, CJ's a really unique player in the fact that he's a great shot creator, and he's also really calm about it too. So he's kind of sneaky about it. You get players like Prime Carmelo. I would compare CJ now to Prime Carmelo in the fact that Prime Carmelo, you have to put your best defender on them, whereas now CJ, you can get away with not putting your best defender on him. As a matter of fact, you're going to put your best defender on Dame.
Dude.
Yeah. And so, however, CJ on the Pistons, you're going to put your best player on CJ.
Yeah. Because he's the number one option.
Who else on the Pistons? I could be totally spacing on someone on the Pistons.
I don't think they have anything.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. CJ's just not that player yet. I think he could be. I don't think he'll be. But he definitely could be that kind of player.
And you think in order to become that type of player, he should be moved to another team? Is that kind of the gist of it?
I would say, yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting to. It's like we don't need CJ. Blazers don't need CJ. For the last 7 seasons, yes, I would say we kind of did need CJ.
Yeah.
Whether he delivered or not. But now, Dame's at a different caliber than he was 2 years ago, I would say.
1 year ago.
Even 1 year ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was his most recent or his second most recent game, like playoff game, where he dropped
12 threes, broke the playoff record for threes.
Yeah. I think on paper that was the best playoff game ever.
It's one of them, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of stats, it's crazy.
CJ's just not that.
No.
Just not that guy, pal.
Yeah. He's just not that guy, pal. Like a few years ago, like, Dame was always better than CJ, but there were aspects of his game that he was missing that CJ complemented him. And now it's like, you're right. You broke it down so perfectly. I don't have much to add, but I will say, like, I don't think we need him anymore. There's times where we do, and it's helpful to have his level of scoring when he's dropping 30 for you. But it just balances out to where, like you said, he'll drop 10 points in one game and shoot 20% from the field, and he doesn't play any defense. He doesn't get his teammates involved. He chucks unnecessary shots. I think if we could keep Norman Powell and just slot him down to the 2-guard position.
Yes, please.
Like, CJ can do things offensively that Norman Powell can't dream of. I admit that.
Like what?
But shot creating.
Expand on that.
I think, well, not dream of might be selling Norman a little bit too short, because he's still a 20 points per game type player. Like on the Raptors, he's putting up crazy numbers. But CJ's got a more diverse bag on offense, for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like,
Norman's got athleticism on him, but CJ, you're right. He's a calm scorer. He can create a shot. He's honestly one of the best mid-range shot creators in the game right now. And he can hit, this season especially, he's been hitting threes like on a different efficiency level than he's ever been close to. His biggest weakness, I would say, is getting to the rim and drawing fouls, but he's got a nice floater, great step back, great fadeaway. Like, I think his offensive bag is way better than Norman Powell's, but Norman Powell, what he brings is defense,
yes,
and knowing his place.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where CJ doesn't.
Knowing his place, that's a big thing.
On top of that, he's still a fantastic scorer. Mm-hmm. He's a great shooter. Norman Powell might be like CJ can create shots better than him, but like if it's a wide open three, Norman Powell might be just as efficient as CJ at hitting it. And then he can get to the rim and he can draw fouls. So like, his offensive game is still at a very high level, but he plays great defense. One of the best defenders on the team, and he's been in that playoff experience. He won a ring with Toronto, and he was a big role on that team. So he's at a level where he's just a high level player that anybody should want on their team. And I think I don't like the 3-guard lineup we run. Like, it's just too small. We get bullied.
Yeah.
I think CJ needs to be moved, and I think Norman Powell, if he stays, which I really hope he does, we can just move him into the shooting guard. And then if we could I would love to keep Robert Covington too. Mm-hmm. I even would love to keep Nurkic too. I love Nurkic. Even though he got kind of got his ass busted by Jokic, he still did just about as great of a job as
he did what he could.
Yeah,
and that's all I could ask for.
Yeah, I think he did a much better job than a lot of other centers would have done. Yeah, like, and he would take advantage of when Jokic would get tired sometimes, and he would at least kind of get him back. Sometimes he would take him to the paint. Sometimes he would contest his shots well. Like, he handled them decently. He still got destroyed, but I respect Nurkic. I think he has a high ceiling as a player, someone I want to keep. But he's also a good trade piece too. Yeah. But as for who we trade for, that's like a whole different story. I don't know enough about the value of players. Who knows? I know Ben Simmons was thrown around, and a lot of people have a bunch of controversy on that because Ben Simmons, his value dropped this offseason, but I, for one, would kill for that trade. I know Ben Simmons can't shoot. I know he's choked, but he would fit the Blazers so damn well, in my opinion. Please expand on that, because I'm on the other side. This is something we're going to argue about. Okay, we can argue about this. Yeah. Ben Simmons was a depoy candidate. I think he was first team all. Mm-hmm. He, in my opinion, I think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. He showed this season he was the best perimeter defender. Like, even the games where we played against the Sixers, Dame would go crazy, but, like, Dame had a tough time when Simmons was on him because he is 6'10", athletic. Mm-hmm. And, like, the main reason I want him on the Blazers is because of his defense. And I think Damian would bring a level to his game that Embiid couldn't. Because Dame's such a good leader. But I'll expand on that. But back to his defense. I really think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sick of Gobert winning it. He's good. Rudy Gobert got it. Yeah. Which on paper, it makes sense. But we've seen what happens every year when he wins it. Like, he just gets destroyed in the playoffs. But another story. Ben Simmons, he can't score for shit. And he's got confidence issues. Like, we saw him pass on open layups. Like, he's got a lot of issues to his game. But I think the Blazers is such a better environment for him because he doesn't have to be that guy. Yeah. And he's a good playmaker and a good passer, too. I think him and Damian will be a killer duo. But it's mostly his defense. I think if you run a god lineup of like him, assuming we keep all of our pieces, like Dame, Norman Powell, Ben Simmons, like Rocco and Nurkic, we will be, with our new coach too, and new lineups, I think we'll be locking teams down. I think he's the piece we need. And it's at like a couple years ago, CJ for Ben Simmons wouldn't have been a good trade because like back then CJ wasn't as great, and Simmons was probably viewed as the better player back then. But now we're at a moment where Simmons' stock is so low that we could totally do this trade. Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't want it, and I get it. Mm-hmm. I don't blame you if you don't want Ben Simmons on the team. He's, controversial player. But for CJ McCollum, I don't think we're losing a lot, and I think we're gaining a lot of things that CJ doesn't have in return. 6'10" player. And I seriously think the main reason other than defense is that Damian Lillard is maybe the damn best leader in the NBA right now. Yeah. I think he elevates other people's games, kind of like LeBron does. Mm-hmm. And I think putting Ben Simmons on this team and telling him, like, you don't have to be the number 2 option or whatever. Like, he had a lot of pressure on him in Philadelphia. And him and Embiid just proved to not be a very good lineup together. I think him and Damian, screw it. Why not try it? At this point, I would love it, and I don't think we can get much else for CJ right now. I think that's a good bet, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on Ben Simmons?
Here's where I'm. you're thinking defensively, which I love.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on the defensive side.
Yeah.
But offense, if you've been in the basketball world for more than a week, you've probably heard that defense wins games. And it's not necessarily a proven statement, but it's one of those really strong, like, it makes sense. You know, you stop the team from scoring, you score more points, you win the game. That hasn't always made perfect sense to me because, sure, you can stop a team from scoring, but if you can't score yourself, you're not going to win the game. You know, if you can only stop the team as much as you can score, then it's going to be a close game, and it's the fourth quarter in an NBA game can go anywhere. Right. We've seen that happen. We've seen teams come back from a 20-point deficit in the fourth quarter and come back and win. So
crazy.
I don't know how much defense is involved with that, but anyway, back to CJ and Ben Simmons. You know, I don't know if CJ is the player I would trade for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, I would trade Nurk and someone else in a draft pick for Ben Simmons. That's all I'd give the guy, and which is a lot for a player, but it's not that much as compared to if we wanted to get even Paul George or someone like that. We'd have to give up 2 players, multiple draft picks, and then who knows how much money.
Right.
You know. So I'm thinking offensively. Like, Ben Simmons is not going to bring a whole lot offensively, if not anything, because we have Lillard, you know, and Ben Simmons was the non-shooting Lillard of the 76ers, I would say. He was him and Embiid. I don't know what the relationship was between those two as far as a leadership role.
Right.
Like, I don't know if Ben was telling the team what to do or if Joel was telling the team what to do. It was probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But there's got to be one more than the other. Yeah. And I just don't know. I would guess Embiid just because he's more of a high caliber player
than player on the team. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's what I'm trying to say. If we traded Ben Simmons for CJ, what do you think? What would our offensive lineup look like? Because that's what I'm struggling to figure out. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, was Ben Simmons the point guard on the 76ers?
He was.
So, put Ben Simmons at the 2 guard. What is he gonna do?
And here's what I'll say.
Or even
I don't think Ben Simmons is a point guard. I don't think he should be played as one. I think he's a good playmaker and kind of has that point forward type role. But I really think he's the type of dude that we can put at power forward. Or even if somehow we lost Nurkic, I would literally say we could play him at center because of his defense and his versatility. Like, we could run small ball with him at center, and he's not even that small. But you're right.
He's not.
We give up a lot on CJ is way better offensive player. And yeah, it's a good
as
question.
Far as scoring, not as
true
moving the ball around, but scoring. Yeah.
It really is a question of is losing that level of offense worth it if we gain that much defense, and that's why it's a gamble of a trade.
Yeah,
and I believe it is. Just because I think he brings playmaking and defense, and I'm really banking on that. I think he will play a different game in Portland. It's a different environment. And I think it'll be the first time where he doesn't have to be the playmaking point guard leader. And he could still be that to an extent, but I think that's why I'm really just high on Damian playing with him. But there's also a few factors, like who all we keep in free agency if we trade anybody else. This is me assuming we have Norman Powell and Robert Covington and Nurkic still. If it was just CJ for Ben Simmons and maybe some random bench player or draft pick or whatever. If we can keep that lineup, then I think it's 100% worth it because we have Norman Powell, who's a great scorer. We have Rocco, who can hit threes. Like, Nurkic can get to the paint. And then we still have, Anthony, who I think... We'll talk about Anthony.
We'll talk about Anthony in a little bit.
I have high expectations for him. I think he's going to have...
That's a bullet point conversation. We'll get back to that.
We'll get back to Anthony. And then whatever other player we sign. But if, we really blow it up and then we just lose a lot of our good role players... Yeah, it probably wouldn't make that much sense. We would want to get a Paul George or somebody who can. But I think Ben Simmons is a great dude to slot into our lineup because I think we can make up for his lack of offense. I think he fills in that role that we're missing. But who knows, man?
Who do you think Ben Simmons is gonna kind of like, not necessarily highlight, but like bring out the best of which Trailblazers that Dame doesn't already kind of bring out. Like, I'm trying to think of what Ben's going to bring to the table kind of as far as chemistry and leadership that Dame doesn't already kind of set the level. That's even CJ, question. Too. CJ's almost at kind of like that leadership level of Dame on the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
So, what are you feeling for that?
One thing I know for damn sure is Ben Simmons will pass the ball, which CJ only did sometimes. And it was weird because CJ would be shooting 20% from the field, and he would still take a contested mid-range jumper when we're down by 10. And it's like, dude, you got to pass. And that's Ben Simmons. The difference is he knows he can't score, so he passes. So maybe his playmaking and passing is a bit overrated because of that fact that maybe that's the only option he has. That's why he gets a lot of assists, whatnot. But I don't think he specifically highlights like one individual. I think it's more that we highlight him and make him better. But I really think it's just a matter of like, and it's all has to do with our new coach and his style, and if it's really ball movement oriented, which I hope.
I think it's supposed to be. That's one of his.
And I heard he's a good defensive coach too, so I'm hoping. And that's why, if that's the case, if he's ball movement oriented and a good defensive mind as a coach, then Ben Simmons just makes sense in my opinion.
Yeah.
But who knows? If it was the Terry Stotts offensive game plan, Ben Simmons would like basically be a ghost on our team. But I think in the right environment, I really think like he just brings ball movement, and I think we can make him a threat on offense too because of his athletic. I think it's really a confidence thing, and I'm not expecting him to be able to shoot, but he's a lob threat. He's somebody who, if he's in his bag, he can get to the paint, and not really a lot of people can block him. He's 6'10", lengthy, and like. And there have been times where the dude will put up 30 or whatever. He just wasn't that guy in the playoffs this year. But I'm just saying, dude, like, you got to be careful if you're putting all of your attention on Damian. He can throw oop to Simmons, or he can get it to Simmons, and Simmons can throw an oop to Nurkic, you know, like, because he's that level of player. I think but I could definitely be overhyping him too much. It's really just a matter of I think he'll play a lot different with us, but it's really a guess at the end
I think he would play a lot different with us. I think we could also, kind of like what you said, we could drop some fruity plays with Dame and Ben Simmons.
I think so too, man.
You know, Dame bringing the ball down the court, Simmons running on the opposite side, down to maybe even low post area, put Nurk on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Simmons on the low post, get the ball to Ben Simmons. You're going to have 2 or 3 good shooting guards. Norman Powell, Lillard, Anthony Simons.
The lineups we could run with that.
We could get some wide open threes.
Yeah.
Blazers haven't been known to hit wide open threes every single time, but that's something you can definitely work on and improve on, especially in a game scenario.
Yeah.
Which I think Ben Simmons could contribute tremendously towards.
I think he's somebody that would play great with our second unit, and I really think like, so you could have Dame, him and Nurkic, and that's Nurkic is a very underrated playmaker. Like in his passes, I think him and Simmons, him and Simmons would like. What's the word? I think they just mesh really well. But the other thing too is we could always run like I was kind of talking about earlier, like a lineup with Simmons why do I keep saying Simmons? I'm tripping. I can't talk. But Ben Seaman. What if we did like imagine this lineup? We have like Damian, Anthony, Norman Powell, Rocco, and then Simmons at center. Like a lineup like that where it's a small ball one. We just got scorers and shooters, and then we still have good defense with Norman Powell and Rocco, and we just move the ball all around, and we're just cooking teams with just fast-paced, high-level offense.
So we saw that with the Rockets before
Pocket Rockets. Yeah, before it blew
before
up.
Harden went to Brooklyn. So for that 3.5, maybe 4 years where they were playing that small ball, hit the three.
Yeah.
We saw how that worked. Do you think that Rockets team, I would say it is, do you think that Rockets team is better than current Trailblazers? Or at least the state that we could be in, maybe?
On paper, no. Like we have players like Rocco's better than who they have. They had Gerald Green. Like that Rockets team played so much better than they looked. Like people forget that team was the only team that was close enough to beating the Warriors in 2018, which was the best team of all time. Like don't at me on that. Like, and if Chris Paul wasn't injured, I'm a firm believer that that Rockets team would have won. Like, and last year before James Harden trade, they kind of took it too far with the small ball thing where they had 6'5" PJ Tucker at center.
Yeah.
That just didn't really work, but people forget that teams still would bust a few teams' asses. Like, they beat the Lakers. Like, it wasn't good enough to win it all, but if we're looking at, like, their peak small ball lineup where they had Chris Paul back in the day, like, obviously we don't have Chris Paul, but I don't think we could replicate that, but I think we could do something a bit different.
Yeah.
In terms of small ball. But I think Ben Simmons would be perfect for that because it really, at the end of the day, saying it sounds like small ball because he's normally a point guard, but he's 6'10", 6'11". Rocco is like 6'7", 6'8". It's honestly like a pretty reasonable size lineup. And it's all dependent on who we play, too.
As far as Blazers teams in the past, that's a very good size lineup.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But, sheesh, dude, I don't know.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Who freaking knows?
I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, I hope we make big changes. But knowing our GM in the past, I really wouldn't be shocked if he's like, all right, we're running it back with CJ and we're signing, like, some random role player who's supposed to be a game changer, and then
who are we looking at recently? Like, was it like Al Horford or something like that?
I would have loved Al Horford. I don't know, man.
I can't remember who it was. I'll have to look back. We'll talk about it next episode.
Yeah, sounds good.
But
I don't know, man. Blazer, stay tuned. We'll have more podcasts soon. I'm sure there'll be some spicy Blazers stuff that happens. Like,
I'm gonna try to get better at keeping up on the news as far as Blazers management, even and just like front desk stuff. It's something to talk about.
It's interesting. I mean, that was a good discussion right there alone. Like, but I think we can leave that there because we got so much more to talk about. But stay tuned for Blazers stuff.
Yes,
we're not the best news source for it, but you'll sure hear good hot takes.
But we're the most entertaining.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
1,000,000%, we're the most entertaining news source as far as Trailblazer basketball goes.
Trailblazer basketball. But in the NBA world, biggest thing right now is the finals, dude. We're kind of jumping a bit ahead to the offseason, but this season's not done yet, dude.
That's all right. Yeah. We're definitely not done with this season. We've got the most
unexpected I can't even say. I don't know what I'm
That was
saying.
a good try.
Yeah,
Anticlimactic.
Climactic.
Yeah.
Finals.
Yes.
Who would have guessed it would have been Bucks versus Suns? And
who would have thought?
This is not discrediting either team, but injuries played a huge role into it. It's basketball. It happens. And I'm glad to see. I'm honestly glad to see. I'm pretty sure I read that whatever team wins, it'll be the first ring for any. Like, everybody in the finals, I think, hasn't won a ring. So it's, like, fresh. I think it's the first time for a long time that there's been a finals where, like, there hasn't been anybody who's won a ring. Chris Paul's been in this league for a hell of a long time, hasn't got a ring. So this is huge for him. I'm expecting high-level basketball. Devin Booker, he's a dog. And then it's really a matter of, like, I really hope Giannis can come back because, honestly, like, I'm kind of rooting. Like, I love the Suns, but I kind of want the Bucks to take it.
Really?
Just because, like, I would just feel bad for Giannis if he. I know Chris Paul's been in this league way more, and he needs a ring. But it's more of a matter of, like, Giannis has won 2 MVPs, a DPOY, and he's just got shit on for underperforming in the playoffs. Yeah. I would just feel so bad. Like,
I would feel bad.
I would feel less bad if it was, like, the other way around, like, for the Suns. That's why I just really like Giannis. Like, and I was one of the people who criticized him too, and I know the Nets were injured too. I think fully healthy Nets would have not destroyed, but beaten the Bucks for sure. But I mean, he did his thing, and he didn't necessarily outplay Kevin Durant, but like he did the best he could, and he would drop 30, 40 back, on the Nets. Like, he earned my respect this playoffs, and it just sucked to see him get injured. So that's kind of why I just want him to come back, and I just want a good series. I don't really care who wins, but I kind of just kind of want the Bucks, but I don't know. I kind of want
the Suns.
Yeah, I can't blame you, man. Really fun team to watch.
I definitely want Phoenix more than the Bucks.
Really.
But
see, Phoenix for me is a way more fun team to watch, and their whole environment is way like more enjoyable. No doubt about it. It's really is a matter of like it's not really I want the Bucks. It's just I want Giannis. Yeah. That's really it. It's for me. It's just Giannis versus the Suns. Like I would love to see Devin Booker and Chris Paul win a ring. Like especially Chris Paul. Like I really wanted him to get it that year when they're literally winning against the Warriors, like with KD and the death lineup. Yeah. And then he went down. It just sucks. He's had a lot of bad luck in the playoffs and bad injuries, and he's been in this league a while. So like he probably deserves it the most out of any of these guys. And I think it's gonna if Giannis doesn't come back, then it's Suns in like 5 or 6, I think. But if Giannis comes back, I think it's going to 7, or the Bucks are just going to win it in like 6.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your prediction?
Yes.
Bucks either way, kind of?
No. If Giannis is out, Suns in 6. If Giannis is in, Bucks in 6.
Yeah.
Or it just goes to 7. It's all out brawl. But
yeah.
I just think like with Giannis there, I think they'll have more of a tough time guarding him than the Bucks will have a tough time guarding Booker and Chris Paul.
Yeah. I think it's definitely going to be a more interesting finals series to watch as opposed to last year with Miami and the Lakers. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were like spot on with guessing Lakers in 6, which is what happened.
Yeah.
And that's what we expected, you know. Jimmy's got to get 2 wins in. You know,
it's Jimmy.
It's like he's going to dog the game enough to where he's going to get 2 wins. You know, it's kind of, you just kind of know. It'd be a surprise if Lakers swept. I would have been shocked.
Yeah.
But it played out pretty much how I even wanted it to. You know, it's like it's like if the Heat would have won, that would have been insane. First of all, that would have been crazy. That would have been awesome for Jimmy and Bam.
Yeah.
But that would have been pretty outlandish, and something would have had to happen to either LeBron or AD, which nothing did. They stayed pretty much healthy throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis probably had his injury every other game, and he was out for 15 minutes.
His career-ending injury.
He probably tore his ACL and was back in 15 minutes in every other game. A Disney.
LeMickey and A Disney. But no, you're right.
Yeah, but I just think it's going to be a more entertaining series to watch, and there's a lot more uncertainty on who's going to win.
Dude.
You know, I think Phoenix could definitely win. I think Bucks are going to win. I think they're going to win. But I think Phoenix definitely has a really good chance. A really good chance. If there's 2 things that need to happen.
Okay.
Number 1, Booker and Chris Paul need to stay healthy.
Yes.
And Chris Paul can't get effing COVID again.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
It was like a restriction. How
did that even happen in the first place? You're in the NBA playoffs and you get COVID. Accidents happen.
Did he actually get it, or was it just a violation restriction? Like, I think he did.
I don't even know.
Well, at least if he did get it, then it's out of the way, I guess.
Well, okay. LeBron should have got a violation for it, but he didn't. He was out partying with Drake the night before a playoff game.
I don't think they'll give it to Chris Paul then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's got that LeBron connection with Adam Silver.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got that yet.
But
he should, but he doesn't.
They got to both be in the game. Okay,
yeah, so they both got to be healthy. 2, Milwaukee has to play really hard. And now that's kind of the opposite of what you would think. Phoenix has to play harder than Milwaukee. I want Milwaukee to play really hard and really good basketball without Giannis, which I think they can do. I think Chris Middleton
is
any team
that
in the
guy,
league.
dude.
He's that guy.
I love him, dude.
He is that guy. 100%. Chris Middleton is a dog.
He's a baller. He's insane.
So if he does his thing and he leads their team to where they should be, Phoenix has a better chance. Yeah. I think Phoenix has a better chance at winning the finals the harder the Bucks play basketball.
Whoa.
And what I mean by that is I feel like not only Chris Paul, but Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, all 3 of those guys play better when the competition's better.
Oh.
You know, and we saw this in the last series against the Clippers.
Yeah.
Because Clippers played some great basketball. Paul George played some great basketball.
Yeah. That was
Suns stepped it up to another level where we haven't seen. You know, Chris Paul was getting 11 assists.
He hit 41 in that closer game.
He hit 41 in the closer game. Yeah. Devin Booker was consistent. Ayton was killing it. He had the game-winning alley-oop dunk.
That was insane.
That was
insane.
So,
man,
I really want which I'm sure is going to happen. Both teams are going to play as hard as they can because it's the mother effing finals.
The finals.
It's the finals.
And they all got chips on their shoulders because it could be the first and last time for any of those players being there. Once everybody's healthy next season, they might never dream of making it again. And I would not even discrediting them, but go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. And I would even say Bucks are more deserving to be in the finals as compared to Phoenix.
In the West, or in the West versus the East conversation,
Yeah. And so, with that said, I think Phoenix just has more to prove than the Bucks do. Because
the Bucks have been close before.
If it weren't for the Nets, the Bucks would have been there regardless. You know, I would easily say that. And which is what
without
happened.
a doubt.
I would easily say
that's
that.
what happened.
Phoenix should probably not be in the finals right now.
They didn't even make the playoffs for the past few years. Like
exactly.
It's an instant jump for them. The Bucks have always hovered around that Eastern Conference Finals area.
Yeah.
And they always come a bit short. So like, yeah, you're right.
So
but,
I would Bucks should be there. Phoenix shouldn't be there. Phoenix is gonna want to play harder.
Yeah.
Bucks are gonna give it all they got because they should be there.
I like that.
It's a awkward but really fluent relationship between both teams and the NBA Finals, which is why I'm so excited for it, because they're such unique teams, and they're teams that you wouldn't necessarily like put money on that they're going to be in the finals.
No, definitely not.
So
especially the Suns. You're right. I didn't think about it how you said like the Suns really do play better when their competition's going crazy. Like look at
and
Chris
not every
Paul.
Team does that.
No, hardly any team really does it to that level.
Blazers don't.
Definitely not. We play like it's like the opposite for us. But
I know.
You're right. It's one of those finals that like if you told me at the beginning of the season this would be the matchup, I'd be pissed. I'm like, that's boring. But it really could end up being one of the most entertaining finals in the past like decade. Strictly because it's a bunch of dudes who we've never seen in the finals. We could see like somebody
a bunch of dudes we've never seen in the finals.
Pretty much literally every one of them or whatever. I think, I don't know. We could see like Chris Middleton or something, especially if Giannis is out. What if he just goes finals MVP mode and drops like 50 in a game or something? That could happen. We have no clue because we've never seen him under this at this level. Same thing goes for D Book, or like we know he can play at a high level. What if Devin Booker just becomes Michael Jordan and just, or what if some role player steps up? Like we don't know what to expect, man. Like,
you know who I think is gonna have a great series?
Who?
On Phoenix.
I hope we're thinking
Crowder.
He was there last year with the Heat.
Yes. Dude, okay, I saw this on TikTok. Crowder has been a part of, like, damn near every finals team for the past, like, 5 or 6 seasons.
Really? Because didn't he play with LeBron for a bit, too?
He played with LeBron. He was on...
he was on the Celtics for a while,
He was on the Celtics.
He's been on the Contenders,
Heat.
Yeah.
He was on the Heat. He was on...
Dude.
I don't think he's been on the Warriors yet. If he has, they didn't go to the finals.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
But Crowder's probably one of the most solid role players in the league.
One of the best. It speaks for itself. He's a common denominator, and like obviously coincidence is a big thing, but he's been on contender teams like every year because he's a good defender. He's a high energy player, and I wouldn't consider him like a good shooter, but he's one of those players that like under pressure he'll hit like 4 threes in a row on you,
and he could always pop off for no reason,
for no reason at all, and for what?
For what?
He's
exactly.
Yeah, I expect big things from Crowder. On the Bucks end, I think PJ Tucker. It might not show on the stat sheet, but he's one of those role players who he's a dog. He would probably be the last player in the NBA I would want to mess with. Like I know he's 6'5", but that dude just looks like he could whoop anybody.
Really?
Yeah, he's horrifying, dude. He's scary. He's a scary looking dude, and he plays like a scary looking dude.
You're walking down an alley. Would you rather come up to PJ Tucker or Kawhi Leonard?
Kawhi Leonard, because they'll both
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Dome me, right? Like I'm dead. But I think Kawhi Leonard will be a little bit more graceful. I think PJ Tucker's the type of dude who, like, especially if I look at him the wrong way, I think that
I think PJ could F somebody up.
Dude,
bad.
I seriously mess somebody up. He's the type of dude who he's got like those prison fists, you know?
He's one of those who'd be like, "What'd you say, bro?
Yeah.
What did you say?"
Yeah, and I think Kawhi Leonard would just ignore it. Like Kawhi Leonard, like if he really had to rock me, like he'd just give me a quick, swift punch. But I think if I like pissed off PJ Tucker, he would
torture you. Kawhi Leonard would knock you out in one punch.
Yeah, and
might kill you. PJ Tucker's gonna put you through the work. He's gonna keep you alive until you keep bleeding, until you bleed out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But he also seems like a really nice guy too.
Yeah.
At the same
if you're
time.
on his good side, like I'm sure seems like a great dude. He's competitive. But anyways, I expect. He's never been in the finals, but I know he doesn't fold under pressure.
He needs to be in the finals.
He's not like a scorer or like anything. He's just a really good role player, and I know there's gonna be times where he's guarding like maybe out. He might be too slow for D Book, but there will be times where there's a possession where he's guarding Devin Booker and he's not going to let him score easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he guarded KD and KD went off that series, but KD had to take really hard shots.
Yeah.
And he's
very
6'5".
hard, very difficult shots.
There might be times where PJ Tucker's on DeAndre Ayton, who's got like 6 inches on him, but he won't. You can't move him around the post, and he's got fast hands.
Yes.
Like that's a player I expect to go crazy. Especially if Giannis is absent. Like I still don't count.
Especially.
Yeah.
Especially.
Like I do not count the Bucks out if Giannis is absent because they have good role players and I forgot about my man Drew Holiday, dude.
Dude, I remember Drew Holiday in. I've told you this before. 2K13. I was on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday was on my team. He was giving everyone buckets on 2K13. Klay Thompson used to be my least favorite player. And I think we talked about this the first episode.
I think we did.
Klay Thompson was my least favorite player in NBA basketball history until like maybe 2 years ago when I realized he was like one of the chillest guys in the league.
The same thing with me.
I hated him because he gave me the work in 2K13 and Drew Holiday carried the 76ers. It was me, Drew Holiday, and Jahlil Okafor.
That's random as hell, dude.
We gave those motherfuckers work, dude. I was dropping like 70 a game in 2K13. But when we played the Warriors in literally the finals of 2K, the finals,
the big show.
The big show where it's like they come out, like they show you the picture, you're on the cover of 2K14.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought I was hot shit back then when they showed me that.
Oh, yeah.
Klay Thompson gave me the work. I scored like maybe 12 points, which was like nothing for 2K. That's nothing for 2K.
2K, you got to drop the big number.
Dude, Drew Holiday was doing his thing back in 2012, and he's still doing it.
Okay,
he's
I have to
still
ask
doing it.
Did you win the finals?
No. No, because I couldn't drop 74 because Klay Thompson was clamping my ass for about 48 minutes, which is how long I was in the game for, of course. It was one of those things. But dude, Drew Holiday.
He has a reputation for locking up players,
especially Lillard,
especially Damian, which we don't like talking about because we love Damian, so we're going to leave it at that.
It's okay.
I don't know who Devin Booker's tall compared to him, but I don't know who.
But
I think you'll probably put Middleton on Booker maybe, and then Holiday on Chris Paul. But expect a tough time for those Phoenix guards because Holiday is maybe the best defending guard in the NBA.
We haven't seen him defend in the finals yet.
Yeah.
Imagine how hard it's going to be to get around that man.
Yeah, it's going to be damn near impossible. And he's been insane on offense this playoffs. He's known as a great defensive player who's good on offense, but he's been great on offense. He's hitting his threes. I saw this highlight of him in the game against Game 7 or the closer game against the Hawks. He hit this crazy up and under layup. He's an athlete.
I saw that. Yeah.
He can shoot pretty well. He's not only will he be just going crazy on defense, good luck guarding him. If he's locked in and he seems like a player who doesn't let the pressure get to him. That's what the Bucks is. They're full of those types of players. So
yes,
it's just gonna be. I'm actually so excited for this finals, way more than I was last year. Which I love seeing Jimmy in the Heat. But we knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
This I don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know.
What if the Suns could just? What if they just swept the Bucks? That could.
I think
happen.
either team could sweep.
Yeah. Seriously, it's really a matter of who wants it more. And I don't know who wants it more. I normally would have said the Suns because they wanted it more than anybody in the West. Regardless of injuries, all that. They just worked hard, outworked everybody. But the Bucks were they're the exact counterpart of the Suns, but the East. They weren't. Nobody predicted them to be the powerhouse, which is the Nets. Same with the Suns and the Lakers, and yet they did it. Injuries, obviously, but still, they did it. And then they kind of had a semi-tough conference finals, but they still I think both teams won in 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think both won in 6 actually. So I think they're really counterparts if you think about it.
Oh, 100%.
And I still like I said, if Giannis doesn't play, I still think it's competitive. But if he does play, then that's going to be tough.
So how about this? Giannis comes in game 3. Phoenix is up 3-0.
2-0 or after game 3?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could they do? I think they could.
They definitely have the potentially could.
It would be like one of the. I don't think it would, but it could. It really could. Giannis could very well just be like, all right, I'm gonna drop 45 every game, and I'm gonna dunk on everybody, and we're just gonna outplay you guys, and that could happen.
It could happen.
So like, I don't know, man. I really hope Giannis does come back. I just want to see the best from both teams. I hope everybody's healthy. Because I know, like, I think even Chris Paul had, like, some injury issues for a bit, and I really hope. But
I think that's just age, kind of.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But, I mean, he dropped 41, so clearly he's looking in good shape.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I won't be mad at either team winning. Cause I like both of these teams a lot. They're fun to watch. And I'm so glad there's no... I love LeBron, but I'm glad there's no LeBron, Curry, or KD, or anybody in the finals right now.
It's just kind of like a little, like... It's just kind of like a deep breath of, like, okay... We definitely don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Because if LeBron, Steph, KD, maybe even James Harden or someone else, if he wasn't on the Nets.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, those guys are probably going to win, but it still could be a good series. You know? But they're probably going to win. And that's how we felt last season. LeBron and AD are probably going to win, but it could be a good series.
Yeah, you're right.
But they won. You know, it's like, oh, shocker, you know?
Yeah, wow.
But now it's like, who the hell is going to win this?
And the nice thing is they're all likable players to the point where I won't be mad if whoever
exactly.
loses. It's the thing with LeBron's, Curry's, and Kevin Durant level players, like, you either love them or you hate them. There's no in between. So it's real, like, when you're watching that finals, you're rooting for them to just get destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's almost stressful, especially when they end up winning. Like, that was me with Golden State. I wanted them to lose every time. And then when Curry's holding that championship trophy, I get pissed. But in this scenario, it's like, oh, go out and have some fun, play some basketball.
Play some really good basketball.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Yeah. It's just going to be a good time. It's in the middle of the summer, too. It's a great time to watch some basketball. So
it's a great time. We got this new spot.
We got this new spot.
We're going to have
Trap Takeover.
I'm going to have some homies over, and we're going to watch some finals games in here.
Yeah.
Or even in the living room. It's a bit cooler in here.
Like 20 degrees cooler.
Low-key, very musty in here.
It's not.
I also have probably 600-ish lights pointing on us. Little tiny LED lights. Those do emit X amount of heat. So it's kind of hot.
True, but it's manageable. It's not like it's not like a whole sauna. It's just reasonably, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
But I will say one more thing about basketball.
Yeah.
And about Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Drew Holiday, whether you've realized it or not, is probably, I mean, in my opinion at least, in the top 10, maybe even top 5 most consistent players in the league. And I don't mean that on a numbers standpoint. Yeah. I mean that in the sense you know what they're going to bring to the game. Drew Holiday, like Pat Beverly and like Jimmy Butler, they're going to give it their all.
Yeah.
And it may not appear like it, or that was kind of a weird sentence. It may not appear to be as so.
Yeah.
Because their fundamentals are... Drew Holiday has a lot of great fundamental defensive plays that just make sense, as do Jimmy Butler, even Jimmy Butler with offense.
Yeah.
And Drew Holiday with offense. You know, it's he's one of those players like Dame, like Jimmy, like LeBron, where it's like, okay, You tell Giannis or Chris Middleton, I really want you to do this. I really want you to get 35 points, 10 rebounds. But if you can't, I want you to lead the team. If you can't do that, I want you to lead the team.
Right.
Drew Holiday's someone who you don't have to say that to. You say, it's almost the exact opposite. You're like, I know you're going to lead the team. I know you're going to get the best out of all your players.
Yeah.
But if you can... shoot the ball a little bit more. Shoot the ball 5 more times than you normally do. It might go in. You might get another 4 to 12 points.
Literally.
And he's also not the player that you're not like, okay, I have to get 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists out of. You know, he's not like that's kind of someone, that's kind of like Dame, where it's like, okay, I really need you to get at least 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in this game. I really need that from you. And if you can't, we're most likely going to lose this game, which is the case with the Trailblazers. Yeah. But with Drew Holiday, and especially the team he's on, you know, he's got Chris Middleton, he's got Giannis. It's like, you don't have to score every single time you get the ball.
No.
You don't have to give up the ball every time you get it. He knows his role.
He does.
He knows what needs to be done. Those points, those extra rebounds, those extra assists, they help whether he achieves it or not. Because most likely on the Bucks, someone else is going to step in. If he's not delivering 100% offensively, someone else is going to step in, most likely Giannis or Chris Middleton.
Right.
He's that player where you're like, okay, I know what you're going to do. Just go do it. If you want, you can get some more points. You can get some more shots up. You can go for a little bit more steals because we can afford the foul trouble. You know, he just gets it. You know, he's just one of those dogs that gets it.
Right. You broke that down literally perfectly. You sound like a basketball savant right there.
Dude, I'm feeling really good right now. I'm not going to lie.
That was a great take. I couldn't add a single thing to that. But Drew Holiday, we love him.
We love him. I would get a jersey if I had the money. Yeah. I'd get a jersey.
He's one of the most. He might be the most underrated player in the NBA. Like, just because you're right, he just does so much.
100%. I didn't even think about that. 100% one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
Easily, because not everything he does even shows up on the stat sheet. Like, he could damn well score 5 points in a game, but he might hold your point guard to 5 points. Like, and that just doesn't get talked about because that's not really like a stat. But
it's not. But players talk about it. Dame talked about it.
Dame talks about it.
He said he came out on how...
Pretty sure the JJ Redick podcast?
Yeah, it was the JJ Redick podcast. He's like, Pat Beverly gives me some work and intimidates me a little bit, but Drew Holiday is the man that, like, makes Damian, like, work on all 8 cylinders.
Yeah.
Every minute he's in the game.
Right.
Even when Drew Holiday's not on the court and Lillard is, I feel like there's something.
His presence remains.
Yeah, his presence remains. His team's there, so it's like...
Yeah. I genuinely think Damian would not be the player he is today if it wasn't for, like, Drew Holiday's existence. Like,
yeah.
I think the way Dame's adapted his game over the years has been a good portion of it. It can be attributed to, like, that Pelican series where Holiday was guarding him. Or, like, you know, like...
Yeah.
He's insane, and expect him to, I don't know, whoever he's guarding, he's going to give him the most tough time. It's just a matter of can they outscore him? Or, like, can they bring better offense than his defense? And Devin Booker and Chris Paul very well could.
They could.
See. Or they could just get folded by him. And Middleton's a great defender, too. Like, we could just
Who knows?
Forever.
Who knows? And we're definitely going to... I almost want to do an episode after every single playoff game because
I know
this is like one of those playoff series where, like, I want to watch every single game because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm so stoked. Well, game 1's tomorrow, so we'll make sure to get this one out before because
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Yeah, Tuesday night.
Work.
Okay.
I'm still watching.
We'll at least get the audio of this one up like right before, hopefully you hear our takes before it happens, because that's happened before. We've like predicted something but then posted after it already happened. It's kind of worse.
We'll get it out,
but it'll be out
hopefully by tomorrow.
Yeah, we can run.
We'll even edit this after we get done if we want to.
That's easy work. But
yeah,
I mean, got anything else?
That's about it. We talked about rap a little bit, right?
Yeah,
a little bit. This was kind of this is right before the finals, so this is what we're gonna talk about a lot. Next episode, we'll talk about the finals a bit. You'll get our reactions. And then you'll get a little bit more predictions, which are probably going to be right. Because if you look at our most recent predictions, we're like... I would say we're like... Other than the Blazers, we're like 75% on point with like...
kind of nowhere...
Damn near everything we say.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. And we'll definitely have more music stuff in the future. Like, we definitely missed out on a lot, but it's one of those things where it's like, we could talk about, like, Migos dropped, Tyler, the Creator, all those. It's like, we could definitely... That would have been better to talk about if we posted like right after it happened, because the hype is already kind of like nobody's really even talking about Migos anymore. Kind of died down already. Yeah. But we definitely could still do that. Obviously, let us know what you want to see.
Yeah, it's just been a rather stale year from our genre of music that we want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you this, and we can even talk about this next episode because we were going to talk about it, we forgot, but we're kind of like pushing our time limit. Yeah. But Ed Sheeran. You know that little ginger guy from, England? Scotland or whatever he's from?
Somewhere.
That little dude.
Where gods are created.
Yeah, wherever the gods come from,
yeah,
he was birthed from the same place.
Dude, before this podcast, we were probably raving about Ed Sheeran for like a good half hour.
A good half hour.
Because it kind of like, I've always like really low-key liked him. I just don't really let a lot of people know. It's not really something to be super embarrassed about, but he's honestly like my favorite singer, probably. One of my favorite artists, honestly.
Oh, he's up there.
And I hadn't really talked about this with Jackson, but we kind of just like, it really dawned on us how much we love Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
Right before this. So we might go on a whole tangent about him next
We'll get Ed on the podcast.
We'll get him on. We'll go way back.
Imagine every single person we've said is going to be on the podcast, like we eventually get them on.
That would be insane.
We're going to clip this episode right before every single one of those. We're going to clip this like 15-second segment and put it right before all of those celebrities.
Dude. Yes.
We've listed at least 20.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's not somebody, well, actually it'd just be awkward if it was somebody we've talked bad on. And there's no way they're watching our old podcast.
Like who? Good. Who have we really talked bad on?
I mean, we've changed our minds on Playboy Carti, but you went after him.
Dude,
that one
right
time.
after a Whole Lotta Red dropped.
You were pissed.
I gave it a 2 out of 10, and I said it was the worst rap music I've ever heard. And now I give it I give it a solid 6.5. Yeah. That's my final conclusion. It's not gonna get any better. It's not gonna get any worse from now.
Yeah,
it's a solid 6.5.
Yeah,
which is like that's decent. It's decent. It's a positive score for sure.
Yeah. But
man, I don't think I'd want to see Playboy Carti face to face right now. I'd give it a little bit more time, and I'd give him a couple more good reviews until I was like, "Oh, what's up, Carti?
What's up, my slap?
my slap?
We cold water. All right. Well, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This was one of my favorite ones to record. Like this one was just so fun.
Right before we end.
Yeah. What you got?
We still.
Oh yeah. Let
need
him know.
A name
for our mascot.
For this, just Duke of Hazzard, you know. I mean, you saw him in the intro. Mm-hmm. That really cool intro I edited that we filmed.
Sick intro.
You saw him.
High level acting.
You also saw him before we even took a break. He's been around for a minute. Still don't have a name for him. So, that's your job.
Yeah.
As a listener and as a participating member of
Trap Takeover. Okay, yeah. So, we'll put up a story on our Instagram of name suggestions and just shoot them at us. We need to know. It's up to you guys.
We can't come up with a clever enough name. I think the best candidate so far, in my opinion, has been like Marcel or something, or like Maurice, which is like funny, but it's not like that's like his name's Maurice.
Yeah.
Cool.
We need like somebody just to come up with like, we've thought of like Trappy, Manny.
Yeah, something
because he's
on
a
that
mannequin.
count.
Like we just don't have the creative juices.
He's a mannequin, so don't name him as a human. Yeah. Don't name him as a dog. He's not a he is a dog, you know. He's a unit, you know. And he's dripped out too.
He's dripped out for sure.
He's dripped out.
He's fresh.
He's got those are Fashion Nova sweats, by the way. They were like $8.
Really?
Kind of fire.
Good deal.
They didn't fit me perfectly, so I don't wear them. So he's like,
hey, it fits him good.
I'll rock it. Same with those Travises. They don't fit me.
Really?
But they just look right on him because they're a size 12, and he's like 6'5" or something at least.
As hell.
So, give us a good tall mannequin name.
Good tall mannequin name, please.
You know,
we're literally begging. It's been so long.
We're begging. But thanks for listening. If you've listened up to this point, if you haven't yet, which is, I mean, if you want, you can check out our last episode. It was obviously a 10 out of 10.
It's always a 10 out of 10. I mean,
but
this is a good one. I hope you're up to this point. I hope you're keeping up because we're really excited to do more episodes this summer. Like this is probably just been like the most
This is the most
fun episode
excited I've been to film an episode since the first one.
Yeah, it's just a great time to do it. Yeah, exactly. So, hope you guys really enjoyed this one.
Hope you're doing well, too. I hope you're in a good spot in life.
Yeah.
You know, life's hard a lot of the time. And
it is.
We hope that we can be the place you go to at the end of the day where you're like, I just need to chill. I just need to listen to some guys, say some funny stuff every now and then, but have a conversation where you feel like you're getting educated, but you already know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
We're not like some experts by any means.
We're definitely not experts by any means, and we'll never claim to be.
No, we know our surface level stuff, and we have a good time with it. And that's what's about.
Maybe with trap music, we're pretty close to being experts as far as our knowledge on the subject.
We know a lot of the artists and their songs, and yeah, that's true.
But definitely not NBA. No. We're eons away from being experts.
Yeah.
You know? But
also, if anybody ever wants to join us for a conversation,
yes,
hit us up. We will have anybody
100%. Doesn't matter. We really don't care who's on the podcast.
Yeah. Even if you don't care about basketball or rap music or anything like that, I don't care. We just want to have conversations with people. That's what this podcast is about. At the end of the day, it's just conversing and having a good time. Like our roots are the core of it is basketball, rap music, or just music in general. But hey, if you want to come on and talk about
please
jazz music or I don't know.
If you're a god and you know jazz music in and out,
I would love to hear about
come on the podcast because we could learn something from that.
Yeah,
you know,
we're trying to learn too.
That's the that's the point of life is learning.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you for listening.
Yep.
Tune in to the next one. It'll probably be out maybe a week.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully we have some good NBA Finals news next time.
It's Trap Takeover, baby. Bam! Bang!